calling you, which will be right in the beginning. Uh, what's our topic? Aloha. Good morning, everyone. It's time to start. So, all of you browsers and talkers, come on down and sit. Aloha, everyone, and welcome to New Thought Center of Hawaii. Aloha to all you folks out on the internet wavelengths, if it's working where you are. I hear there's a massive issue with that, but I hope you're on, and I hope we get to share with you today some really wonderful information. Our speaker today is Julia Fairchild, and she and I are such dear friends, and I will share more about that in a little bit. Um, Before anything else, um, okay, I'm going to have our, I'm sorry, Eva. I'm going to have Eva come, and I just threw her under the bus because this is her first time here. But we're so happy she's here. So she's going to read from the Science of Mind.
Okay, so today's reading is The Little Things. Little things make big things happen. John Wooden. You can never be less, but must forever be more yourself as the life within you unfolds through your experience. Ernest Holmes, Science of Mind, page 116. There's a divine contradiction about the little things. In my experience, when we take care of the little things, like the basic kindness and authenticity, daily practice, touching base regularly with our most prized connections, the big things will take care of themselves. When giving sermons, my goal is to never try to hit a home run. I aim to hit just a single. Every once in a while, I rejoice that it goes over the fence. Whenever I get overwhelmed, I try to remember the fundamentals, and things tend to go back into harmony. And yet, in the same way, the little things can also be the most dangerous. A day of perfect composure can be lost over a dirty dish not placed in the sink. A little thing like saying a genuine, I love you, with eyes trained on the phone, may come back to haunt us. In the same way as not making the person in front of you important enough as you buzz off to handle the oh so important to do list. Robert Anton Wilson said, "You are precisely as big as what you love and precisely as small as what you allow to annoy you." Today, stay as big as what you love. Don't let yourself get trapped in the small things. Today, do the things that matter. Have no time for small things that don't. Today, instead of being whatever annoys you, be what you love. And the affirmation is, as I take care of the little things today, the big things take care of themselves.
All right, we're going to have everybody repeat the affirmation with us.
As I take care of the little things this day,
As I take care of the little things this day,
the big things take care of themselves.
the big things take care of themselves. Yay! Thank you, Eva. That was wonderful. Awesome. All right, so I'm going to invite everyone now to just get comfortable in your seats. And we're going to go into a meditation. Oh, yes, please. And our amazing lay minister, Patty Wall, is going to present a lay to Julia. And I'm going to present a Science of Mind magazine to Patty. It's an interesting conundrum, a thing that happens. I mean, when we doubt that spirit knows how to handle things because they aren't going the way we want them to, something happens that proves that spirit knows exactly what it's doing. So I started receiving two Science of Mind magazines in my mailbox. One was addressed to me, and one was addressed to Pasha. And I called Pasha and I said, "Hey, I think I have your magazine." And she says, "No, no, I have mine." So we talked about it for a while and figured it out. And she had tried previously to, she gifted me with one and she was going to gift one to Patty. And she couldn't get Patty's gifted to her. So she suggested that as long as it goes on, that I pass the extra one on to Patty so she has hers as well. So Pasha's wish to give to both of us was fulfilled in a weird way. Amen. All right. So I get everybody to settle in, and we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose, the ihu, out through the mouth, the vaha, in through the nose, out through the mouth. When you breathe in through your nose, let your belly go out. And when you breathe out, release. And just relax into your chair and get comfortable and wiggle around maybe a little bit. And allow your attention to go to your heart and notice whatever's going on there. Notice if you're nervous or anxious or happy or at peace or joy. Whatever is going on in your heart right now is the perfect thing for you and for everyone else. So just notice. And as you notice, send your heart all the love in your being. Give thanks to your heart for beating, for keeping you alive, for bringing you into awareness, for having you be present fully here and now. That amazing heart that doesn't need any help from us to keep working. We just have to breathe and be, and let that being, that stillness, flood over our entire bodies from our heads down to our toes. And feel that oneness that is in us and through us and around us. We are one with all that is. We are one with the divine, infinite spirit, all that is. And as we know that oneness, we offer up a knowing for wellness for anyone in suffering, pain, anyone having illnesses, challenges of any kind, anyone even wanting to share joys with other people. We offer up this divine word into the infinite one that is. And just by loving through our hearts everyone and everything, releasing any judgments, any conditions, any weaknesses, any strengths, any purposes, just loving all that is and everything. We are love. That's all we are. And we can share our love with all. So allow our hearts to open even more, to send more love out till it touches and reaches every person, thing, every space, place, and face. Everything held in the light. And we give thanks for the miracles. We give thanks for the ordinaries. We give thanks for answered prayer. We give thanks for knowing that we are one with all that is. Ua lele valiatula mama e, and we release and let go and let God, and all together we can say, and so it is. All right. So I'd like to have a song from Steve.
My pleasure. Good morning, everyone. And what I'd like to offer you this morning is a blossom of sakura.
Ooh. Kundalini awakening.
I don't usually get to be on sakura that way. And I have a great time with it.
Thank you. We are so blessed to have the most amazing musicians on the island come and visit. And some people aren't on the island, they come visit anyway. And it's just a miracle that every week we get an amazing musician or musicians or singers coming to share their love, their aloha with all of us. And New Thought Center was actually created back in the 70s as a science of mind study group, and it evolved into a science of mind church with ministers and went through several ministers. And the last minister with us said, "You don't need a minister anymore," after we had done a quite lengthy search for one and not found any. She said, "Minister to each other because you're all ministers." And we went, oh, okay, let's try that. So through the years, we've evolved into New Thought Center, and we do minister to each other. So I am Pomekai Kulan. I'm a minister, actual minister, and I am the facilitator today. So I get to run the show. Woohoo! And that's my Kuleana today. Next week, actually, I'll be in that seat, and so there's the ministry there. Um, we also get amazing people that come and share their mana'o with us. Julia is, um, she always blows my mind every time she comes. She is so knowledgeable about so many things. And I'm going to give you some extra time to talk because I know you're good at that. um, yeah. So that's how we came into being, basically supporting each other and just creating what we've created so far. And we know it's always an evolution, and we're always evolving and looking forward to whatever's next. So thank you for being here this morning. Are there any people here for the first time? Only that? Okay. Oh, hi, Babette. Um, all right. Well, we're going to go do something we love to do so that everybody knows everybody, so you don't feel like a stranger. And Julia is going to pose a question, and Palmer's going to turn on her mic. Okay.
What is your favorite tool for accessing your divinity?
Um,
To access your divinity?
yeah. Okay. Wow, that's a tough one, actually. I have a lot of tools. You want to go?
I got a great one.
Okay, go.
A smile.
That's
Yes.
the best.
Yes. I just
Yeah.
started a Qigong class with amazing people, and he's always reminding everybody to smile because your smile actually moves your chi through your body. And when you're smiling, it's not moving. So we can all wear smiles all the time. That is awesome. I like that one.
You're good at that.
I think for me, I always go back into meditation and prayer. That's just my foundation. And we're going to pass the mic around the room, and everybody gets a chance to say your name and your answer.
Good morning. My name is Pasha, and I have this CD that I think I've had for about 20 years. It's Manuel Roberto playing flute, and it's like ragas for, I forget if it's morning or evening, but it's a wonderful tool. It really helps me to get into meditation.
Good morning. I am Elisha Leolani. My favorite way of connecting with my divinity is taking my slippers off and walking in my garden and working in my garden and listening to the birds. After a while, cats come and hang out with me just and it's the fullness, the oneness with all that is around me that reminds me of who I am. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Anna. My favorite tool for finding and attaching and benefiting from my divinity is prayer, when I can get outside myself and be of service in prayer to others, that's when I feel that I'm accessing my divinity.
I'm Vivek, and I think for me it's silence.
Hello, I'm Jan. And the first thing that came to my mind was reading the daily word every morning.
Good morning. My name is Reagan, and I think my favorite tool for accessing my divinity is stopping, seeing the divinity in others for a moment.
I'm Phil, and I would say my favorite tool is entering into the quiet.
I'm Margie, and one of my favorite tools is recognizing the amazing synchronicity.
Aloha, I'm Bill Brooks. I would say my favorite tool is meditation. Although in doing readings, I use numerous other modalities, whether it be tarot or other cards or I Ching or runes, what have you. And then the other thing is nature, just connecting with nature, whether it be the ocean and the mountains or whatever, to where just with nature.
I'm Patty, and I'm going to pass. I'm Eva. I was going to say nature too, but I'm going to go with hugs because there is something in that connection for me. When you came and hugged me, there's this connection and melting, and then there's an expansion. There's the moment, and then there's the expanse.
Wow.
Hi, good morning. I'm Amanda. I'd say for really diving inward, my favorite tool is meditation, and to be connecting to divinity and in my body at the same time would be through music with singing and dance.
Good morning. I'm Nance. Thanks for saying smiles. That was great. But finding a sacred place in nature where I meditate seems to be my favorite.
I'm Palmer. One of the tools, there's more than one, but one of the tools is service or seva. And
I'm here 18 years ago, and I came to New Thought. So it's been 18 years since I've been here. I think it was just over there, just in the next building or something. Practices breath work, community, and being in nature.
I'm Candy, jumping into my heart.
I'm Peace Eagle till December 10th, Pasha's birthday. Now, there's a story behind this. I listened to the Messiah. Messiah. Also, at 2 o'clock in the morning, when I have completely reached the state of complete rest from worldly affairs, I'm lying there in the mummy position. And I direct healing outward and inward on the truth.
It's okay. Leah? hiding in the back. Sometimes we need to do that.
Aloha, I'm Leah. And I'm sitting back here because I have a cold and I don't want to share, even though I like sharing with everybody. I don't want to share that. And I love all of you.
Thank you.
And the way I connect is in nature and appreciating the beauty and the harmony and the symmetry, the gorgeousness of life, and living in high level of gratitude daily. Thank you.
And that's Faith over there. And she declined to say anything, but that's okay because we have choices. We're all about choices here. So it's wonderful. Thank you all for sharing. It's interesting how diverse and similar we all are. And I so appreciate that about being here. And actually think that that is one of the reasons why people find New Thought Center to be so attractive because we are diverse and we are similar and we all love to hug. So let me see here. Oh, okay. So we're going to have one more song. Okay.
I have many too many choices for today. uh, but what I'm called to play is this piece called Kasuga by Makoto Shinohara. And it's sort of a meditation, but it's sort of a thank you. It goes on longer, that's fine. It's a great music.
Yeah. Are we back on? Okay. So now is one of my favorite times where we get to share miracles and ordinaries. So this is your opportunity to come up to the mic so that it can be heard by the people that are online. Um, you can call your cousin up tomorrow and say, "Hey, watch that video. I'm on it." um, so miracles are things that just happen and we just don't even grok it or understand it at all, and it's just beyond. Ordinaries are miracles that are just everyday things that happen to us, but when they happen, maybe one time you go and you just see it in a different light or you experience it in a different way than you have previously. And that is an ordinary. And those are very much worth sharing. And I'd like to invite anyone who'd like to come up and share their miracle or ordinary with us. Please do so. Don't rush the mic. Okay, go ahead.
I had a very miraculous time yesterday with Leslie Farley and Binti Bailey. And
we're doing it's audible, yes? And we're doing a program. Louder? I'll do louder, but I won't be too haunted, maybe. So Leslie Harlieb and Binti Bailey and I, and a drummer and a bass player, Owen and Joey, are going to put on a concert at the Volcano Arts Center on September 14th. And we had our first meeting yesterday, and the program starts with, "There's no business like show business." And so we've got history of vocalists back in the 1800s, Ma Rainey, Bessie Smith, all the way easing forward to Ethel Merman and the shouters and the people that love musical comedy and the joy of making music together. We're using, who do we have? Mildred Bailey and Billie Holiday, 3 Billie Holiday people. Anyway, all the way up into the 50s. And it's going to be just an amazing concert. We spent a couple of hours yesterday thinking, oh, we got to have them. And it turned out, 4 hours of music. Nobody's going to sit around. So we cut it back to about an hour and 3/4. But please let's do it here. I think we should do, how many would like to have a Divas of Jazz concert here? Oh, and there's got to be somebody who'd like to do it. Anyway, it's going to be a great program up in Volcano, but we want to take it to other places, and it's just an exciting program. If you're interested, we'll make a piece of paper, and I'll make sure that you get on the list. But let's do it here. So, can you arrange that? Thank you. Doing something else then? Oh, we're doing Christmas. We'll talk. Anyway, I think it's going to be a very special concert, and the whole, different colors and different styles. We're doing klezmer music, and everything that thrills you. I mean, it's just going to be a great program. Please come. And I guess come here, right?
My name is still Anna, and I am super grateful for the miracle of my dear partner David's good care at Kona Community Hospital, and for the prayers of all the people on the prayer committee, the prayer ministry at New Thought for his healing. He suffered a ruptured intestine last Tuesday, and it was really serious. So we're just so glad he's alive, and all of the markers for healing are very slowly coming into place. The white blood count is down. His ability to get up and take short walks is happening. So thank you for your past and future prayers.
For those of you that are here for the first time, instead of clapping, which breaks the energy, we do this. It's International Sign Language for applause. And we do this for applause, and we do this for standing ovation. So feel free at any time to interject your excitement and your happiness. Anyone else have? Yeah, Alicia.
Hello. I would just like to mention the miracle that I've witnessed over the last 3-4 weeks when Benjamin Morans, whom most of us know here, was found by the hot tub, in the hot tub, unconscious. And swiped off to our hospital here, Kona Hospital, and they managed to revive him again. But there were lots of other complications, and so he was taken off to Oahu 3 days later, and there to the ICU, and there has made amazing progress. Within 1 week, he could walk again, he could talk again after having had no control over his speaking and thinking and eating. So now he's back on the island again in his home in Banyan Tree and recovering, driving around on his golf cart. It's cool. So thank you for witnessing that with me.
Yes, we're very grateful for recovery. He was actually in a coma for a long time. Seemed like a long time. Anyway, so I'll just do my little plug right now. We do have a prayer ministry here. We do treatment, and we do it for 1 week when you make a prayer request. We do it every day. There's a whole group of us that do this. And we keep getting feedback that, wow, the prayers are happening. So if you have a need of a prayer, there's a beautiful little koa box with a turtle on top over there on the table right in front of my beautiful daughter Faith, and she's demonstrating. um, and there's pieces of paper there, and you can just fill it out and put it in the koa box, and it will go to everyone in our prayer ministry. And everyone's in the ministry, in this ministry, is trained in science of mind treatment. So that is our specific mode that we use. And then I know that a few of us add our own little embellishments on that, but primarily that's the focus. So if you feel of need or know someone who is, then please feel free. And I want to get to my friend Julia. Does anybody else have a burning miracle they want to share? Anybody? Ah, Julia. Oh boy. A lot of people don't know. Back in the day, I think before it was even New Thought Center of Hawaii, it had a different name, a little bit different name. We got together and decided that we needed to have a website for New Thought Center. And Julie and I created it, mostly her, but I helped. And she did all, if you go to our website and you look at the page where it describes all of the founders of the New Thought ideas, science of mind, all of that, all of those teachers, they're all in there. And she went and found all those people. She already knew a lot of them, but she even did more research and found all of these people and put them on the website. So I have her to thank for that. And also, bless her sweetheart, after I got tired of doing the newsletter that we send out, the electronic newsletter, um, actually, when I started, it was an email that we sent out to people. Not even close to a newsletter. But when we did the website, we decided that's time to kick it into high gear and create an electronic um, communication. So now we have our wonderful e-newsletter, which you can sign up for. Am I being buzzed? Okay. So if you want to be on our newsletter, it's easy to sign up. You can go to our website and sign up on the front page, or you can sign this book over here, and we'll put you on the newsletter. And it's easy to unsign up for the newsletter if you don't want it. You can just delete it. So unsubscribe, and there you go. So Julia is just, she amazes me every single time. Every time she comes, every time I talk to her, every time we see each other, she always has something amazing going on in her life and to share with everyone. So I'm so happy to turn this over to you, my dear.
Thank you. Thank you. So, it's okay. I was like that. Two things came to me while I was here that I wanted to share extra. So thanks for extra time. I do transcriptions for Anna Jones for several of her clients. Have discovered that I can transcribe their angel readings. So I'm always transcribing new angel readings. And two things that have come through lately from Archangel Michael that I feel inspired to share with you, just, you know, incidentally, are one thing he talks about how we never question that our heart will beat or that our breath will come. We just automatically assume that the most miraculous thing that ever happened is just going to happen every time we need it to. And he says, if you could have that much faith about where your next meal is coming from, or where your rent is coming from, or where your whatever you're asking for, your new tires on your car are coming from. Hello, if you can have faith in your breath and your heartbeat, you can have faith in your tires and your meals, which I thought was awesome. And another thing he said lately, which really I've taken to heart, he says, if you could imagine, if you could see what we see as the workings of worry, the energetics of what happens when you worry, he said it just like this, you would never do it again. I'm not kidding. So every time I catch myself worrying now, I'm like, I go into something else. I change the channel immediately because worrying is not going to help you at all. Also, I want to give a caveat to what I'm going to share today, because what I'm sharing today is really personal. An experience that I've had just lately as I got myself really, really sick and well again. And I channeled my higher self. And it was pretty awesome what came through. And I wouldn't share that with you, except that I know that we are all one. And what comes to me through me is from God's mouth to your heart. So everything that I'm sharing today is a message, it's a phone call from heaven, and I'm asking you to take it personally, because it really is personal. Okay. So I'm gonna read it, because otherwise I'd never catch it. I'd never cover it all. When I was a little Mormon mother and wife and mother, I wrote this poem, and it has some of those, like hard lines of "you'll never be good enough" to it, but I think mostly it holds true still today. Through a glass darkly, in each of us there burns a light, and though it's called by many names, the scriptures say it best. This is the light of Christ. It seems to me that every man can call himself a lamp, and every man has but one quest: to let his light burn bright. And when we come before the Lord, his queries will be few. How brightly did your light shine, and did your love ring true? Now, every lamp is different. No two will look the same. Some shine bright on dusted shelves amidst tokens of their fame, while others, lacking confidence of home or family name, are crusted with the hardened mud of ignorance and shame. Some rest in hallowed halls of God's own temple splendor, while others wake to find themselves in poverty and squalor. It matters not so very much where each lamp comes to rest. What matters most is how he lives to fill the only quest. Because he burns imperfectly in mortal atmosphere, there forms inside on every glass a velvet veil of ash. Unless he scrubs it clean each day through constant introspection, through searching prayer, unceasing pleas, and heavenly intervention, the veil grows thicker, darkens black until the light grows dim. Thus, though he's light of deity set forth to mark the way, he sees himself, and he is seen through a glass darkly. It seems a bit coincidence that ashamed begins with ash, for shame is always the darkest part of the blackness in the soot, and fear, the other lies, always at its root. Lies, all lies, of course, are based on fear and shame, fed carefully by the little one who means to douse the flame. I counted the other day, and I have 32 volumes of written journals on one bookshelf in my little tiny home. I counted them for the first time, but now that I've started writing my musings on my computer, who knows how many volumes I have. So writing is one of my tools for reaching the divine. And reading literally thousands of books from the first day I learned to read. I remember the first day I learned to read in first grade. And those readings have saved and shaped my life. My very scary and painful childhood was bolstered by such characters as Pollyanna and Elsie Dinsmore and Scarlett O'Hara and Little Women and so many, many, many more. And throughout even my earliest days, specific messages came to me through books and found my attention, messages from heaven, support, hope, information I could never have found on my own. Reading has been a lifesaver for me and has always been my mailbox from heaven. And then writing, journaling, has literally been the vehicle of healing in my life. Early in my healing journey, I noted that as mortal beings, we're designed to forget who we are spiritually. We easily forget spiritual experiences. They're as fleeting as dreams, although truth be known, our spiritual experiences and our dreams are probably more important to pay attention to than our daily grind of experiences. I remember the movie Memento. I watched it one time 25 years ago. Highly graphic and violent. I wouldn't recommend it if you're bothered by those things. But let me share what I got from that movie. My then 16-year-old son and I spent days afterward just really getting all the meat off the bones of that movie. First of all, the movie started at the end, at the beginning, started at the end, and it worked its way backwards. So that in the end, you got the beginning of the movie. It's really weird. But the main character has lost his memory, his short-term memory, and he can only remember anything for like 30 seconds. So in order to remember what his quest is, which is to find and kill the murderer of his wife, he takes Polaroid pictures. This thing is bumping. Is that better? He takes Polaroid pictures and writes notes on the back of them, and he tattoos his skin so he can remember what to do every day. And to aid, from these notes to himself, he takes action in his life and pursues his one obsession. So how many of us take note from what we've written on our scars, on our hearts, and live our life according to that? People close to him use his memory loss to their gain, and they direct him to kill the person they want dead because he doesn't know, he doesn't remember. He already did that several times before. So anyway, that's how that worked. What's never left me from that movie is the amazing connection I made that as amnesiac spirits in a human body, we do our best to fulfill our quest, given the small glimpses of clarity that our spirits share with us from Source. So it stands to reason that if we write down our questions and our answers, capturing the essence of the lessons that we learn, we create our own set of personal scriptures. And I've also experienced that rereading those scriptures, those journal entries, can take me back again to the peace and the joy and the hope and the bliss and the gratitude of remembering my truth, my connection to the great WWW. That's what I call God. Whoever, whatever, wherever, here I am. It's kind of like my experience of mind-altering drugs. I've tried ayahuasca and ecstasy one time each. And each time I remember feeling so grateful that I was there and so blissful. I mean, like bliss, like whatever. And I remember thinking, I love this and I'll never do this again because it stretched my brain till I thought it was going to pop. But what the best part of it is now I can just remember that and drop into that bliss and I don't need the drugs. So my journals play that same piece for me, that I get the bliss, I write it down, I capture it in my journal, and it's there for me. Also, in writing journals, I can see patterns. The patterns become apparent, and the patterns are your friends when you're looking for clearing out the shadows, right? Sometimes in earlier days, it seems that the patterns were so deeply ingrained that I wrote the same passages over and over and over again. And one pattern most prominent in those early days was every journal entry began with relief that I was finally pulling myself up out of a deep, dark depression. Another was that I tried so hard to be good. I had non-ending lists of things that I needed to do in order to get good enough and to prove my worth. And I knew I'd never reach my goal of perfection, but I never stopped trying. And actually, still have never stopped trying. I still keep trying. In later healing days, I learned about left-hand, right-hand writing. And that's when it got miraculous. I learned that I can access my higher self. I can access Jesus Christ. I can access my puppy. I can access anybody I want on the other side, or on this side, their higher self. It's been, and I've actually been able to coach tens of people to be able to find their loved ones or find their answers from the other side. Another tool that I've used with amazing success are Osho Zen tarot cards and runes. And the runes, lately, they've become my favorite thing. I cannot imagine the perfection of the specific answer that I get to my questions. I don't ask many questions anymore. I don't really want to know some things. And I don't ask questions I don't want the answers to. But, and the answer is always the same, right? Love yourself, love one another, be the love. That's really the answer. It's easy and simple and profound. But what I have found in using divination tools is that you could use the phone book. Ask your question, open the book, and there's the answer. It's just more fun to use the tarot cards or the Bible or runes. It never ceases to amaze me how somebody who wrote the Book of Runes in 1989 or something, or 1890, whenever it was written, I forget. They have the specific answer to the specific question that I asked today. And even if I pull the same rune twice, I get that answer specifically to that question today. It's miraculous. Throughout my Mormon days, I found that to be true with the scriptures. I don't necessarily delve so much into the scriptures, but I already know them inside out, side up, side down, backwards. So if I need it, it's there. The scriptures are there. I share these musings to emphasize my belief that I am not special. I just know that what I can do, anyone can do. And what anyone else can do, I can do. Because we're all one. At about 40 or so, I went back to college after I was still raising my kids, but I went back to college and I became a psychology major at Antioch University. And in studying my subject, I read about a thing called attachment disorder. And I never been one to get really attached to much of anyone or anything. When my kids come to visit, I really enjoy them, and I'm really glad when they go home. And especially these days, I just really am not attached. I know it's all good, so I don't really worry about stuff. Anyway, I began to wonder in those days if perhaps given my extremely violent and traumatic upbringing, if I didn't have attachment disorder. But the Buddha says that non-attachment is the way to go, but the psychology books make it more of a pathology. And I wondered how my non-attachment could be explained. Was I a Buddha or a psycho? So I asked my professor, a young guy who was just amazing. I wish I could remember his name even, I don't, but he was just this bright light at the college. And I asked him, I said, what do you think? Do you think I have attachment disorder? And he said, let me get to know you and we'll talk more about it later. So at the end of the term, we came back to it and he says, I've listened to your to you in class, I've read your writing. He goes, I got to know you pretty well. And from what I can tell, the only thing wrong with you is you think there's something wrong with you. You don't know who you are. And in that moment, it was like a laser pierced my heart. And I knew beyond shadow that that was the truth. And, which is the definition of fifth dimensional thinking, and I knew it was not only true for me, but it was true for every living soul. And that didn't make it any less true for me. The only thing wrong with any of us is we think there's something wrong with us. We don't know who we are. With that, I want to share some of the latest writings I've experienced in my latest transcendent episode of illness. This is a left-hand writing from my higher self, Julia, Fairchild of God, or JFOG as I call her. For background and context, let me say that I was exploring the idea of, well, Archangel Raphael told me to rewrite a covenant that I made 100 years ago, where I said, I'll lose myself in service and you take care of the rest of the, details, like whether I have a partner or all that kind of stuff. I'll just do the service part and you do the rest. So he said I should rewrite that since I've lost myself in service and I really need to find myself again. So I was asking, what does God want from me? And I was exploring the idea, as Archangel Michael is often talking about, the difference between divine will and self, the will of the self, the ego, and the will of the divine, the higher self. And he said they should all be one. And I was trying to get to the point where I could feel I was one with my higher self. To put my higher self in the driver's seat and let her do all the driving. So I was slowly recovering from a self-induced extreme bout of bronchitis or COVID or whatever, brought on overnight by my saying, I banish all traces of ill health from my body and claim my being as a child of God. And it was long, and I memorized it, and I said it so many times that I woke up the next morning, and boy, was I sick. And I pictured my inner historian archivist carrying armloads of all the shadow parts and saying, you want these dumped? Where shall I put them? In your gut? In your lungs? Where do you want them? Oh my God. Be careful what you wear when you're doing healing rituals. Anyway, that had been the theme of my quest. And after laying it all out, my higher self responded in italics now on the computer. And this is what she said. Beloved, to want me is to assume that you don't have me, that I could be anywhere but here, within you, being you. We are of like mind. We are on the same page. You and I are one. How could I not be here? So don't chase the illusion anymore. Know that I am with you. Know that you and I share the same will. You've become better and better at hearing my direction, knowing when to do something or not, trusting in the divine benevolence that is. Fear is that I am anywhere but right here is simply an illusion. Trust in yourself and trust in your higher self. Assume that I am in the driver's seat and heed the promptings as they come. You are good. That is a fact. Nothing can change that. You need not strive to be good. You're inherently good, made of God's stuff. You have only ever been good, only ever strived to be of service, only ever aspired to fulfill your dharma. Relax into the truth of your acceptability, of your goodness, of your being good enough already. Experience in this reality is exactly that. There's no judgment. If you enjoy watching back-to-back videos on YouTube, watch it. Your faith has always been strong, exemplary. Remain strong in your faith that all is in divine order. You have nothing to prove. We've done excellent clearing work this last week. I am pleased to see the temple becoming more and more clear, the shadows being shined out of existence. Return to the light for the transcendent success of a life well lived, valiantly survived, and joyfully thriving. Don't work so hard, dear one. Relax into the truth that you are already good enough, that you're pure of heart, that your will and my will are one with the divine will. Of course, as you know, there's always more. As long as you burn in mortal atmosphere, you must continue to polish the glass, but don't wear a hole in it. Your greatest fear has always been that you were making up these musings. If you are making them up, know that they are still mirrors of what you most desire, and what you most desire is to be whole in union with the divine. When have you ever been denied that which you desire? Don't worry about that the blue light is not always visible to your mind's eye. You are still in the world, and there are still veils. The fact that you see that light as often as you do is only testament to your strength and your faith and your goodness. More and more people are beginning to catch glimpses of the rest of reality as the veils thin and as we all move toward ascension. As you know, you are nothing special, and you are of ultimate worth, character, and divinity. You're sometimes closer to that truth than other times, and thus you catch glimpses of the blue light. Don't let its seeming disappearance discourage you. Simply rejoice in the many moments that you do catch glimpses of yourself in reflection. Think of it as the rainbow you see and then you don't. Not seeing it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It's simply outside the range of light spectrum that makes itself visible to your human eyes. Trying too hard to find me presupposes that I am not right here. Rest assured that I am right here. I hear every word. I answer every call. I want to be with you as much as you want me to be, as much as I want to be with you. Not that either of us have a choice in this because we're never apart. We never were, we never will be. Simply relax into that truth and follow your heart. I will never lead you astray. Just as reciting the cleansing health prayer triggered a healing crisis, believing too much that you don't have me and have to try to find me will only frustrate and confuse you. Accept that I am and we are one yesterday, today, and forever. It's the only thing that was ever possible. Don't be like a little child chasing a ball down the hill and kicking it ahead whenever you get close. Relax into the reality of your divine worth and worthiness. This is not an ego thing, it's a divine truth. Step into your divinity, walk in your divinity, accept your divinity, know that you are a precious child of God, and as such, you carry divine power to overcome and rise above anything that would stand in your way. This is not to say there isn't always more to learn. And just as your close beloveds are always worried that you sugarcoat everything and discount the difficulties of mortality, you know that all is in divine grace and you live that truth in every way. Your faith is phenomenal and it serves you well. Are there fine tunings that will come with experience? Yes, of course. Else why be mortal? Why endure the journey? Just remain in your knowing that all is well and you are enough and that I am you. I speak truth and truth only. So I went to bed and I woke up the next morning with more. It's like, enough already. But here it is. I heard you in the night. You reminded me that I am as close as your beating heart, as constant as the flow of your breath. I am no more going to leave you than they are. Even when they do, I shall still be with you. And for now, I am your beating heart. I am your breath. Anytime you're feeling out of touch, simply tap into your heartbeat and go with the flow of your breath and know that I am that and you are that and we are one. Your only task now is to recognize yourself as one with me and me as one with you and walk in the truth of your divine nature. Remember, awaken the ancient memory of oneness with all that is and relax into the veracity of our union, not only as our eternal self, but as part of the whole of creation, indivisible and individual and indivisible. It's like we're a single eye within the body of the whole. Our eye is composed of many parts, but it's all the same, part of the eye, part of the body. You've recently removed some cataracts, and while there may be some few floaties left over, your vision will continue to improve as you heal from the surgery. Do you feel how seamlessly you slip into channeling my voice? It's as much your voice as mine. You simply slip into your divinity in order to hear from a higher perspective. It's true that you say things and see things in a way that you would not from your common view. That's how you know that you're in your divinity. A simple change of perspective, seeing from the higher vibration that you also are. Sometimes the waves get scratchy when reception is clouded by mortal whatevers, but they're always strongly projecting, awaiting your tuning in and passing on the insights. So, in practical application, in keeping me in the driver's seat for normal day-to-day decisions and activities, simply learn to switch your perspective, abandoning old habits and fears, while acting in your divinity, walking in your divinity, dancing in your divinity, playing in your divinity, working in your divinity, and while practicing unconditional love of yourself and others, giving everyone the benefit of the doubt, assuming no fault of anyone, seeking and honoring the divinity in everyone. Sunday. I awoke this morning in sublime peace and joy. I've spent the morning sharing my night with Dixie and Bodhi and Compassionate Witness. I lay this morning in the sun on the grass with faithful Miley tucked up beside me, and she lays peacefully at my feet as I type. What a joyful night. I awoke around 2:30 or so to deep coughing, constant, unrelenting, unproductive, dry coughing that racked me to the very core. No breaks, just coughing for at least an hour. Seemingly no results, no phlegm, no mucus, nothing but more coughing. At first, I felt frustrated by the lack of results because, try as I might, I could never get deep enough to pull up anything that would make all the effort worthwhile. I tuned in my cough relief healing frequency on Spotify and on YouTube, which usually tames the coughing immediately. No results. The coughing continued. I finally got up and took a dose of Manuka honey cough syrup and heated some water to pour over a cloth so I could breathe in the heat into my system. I stood in the moonlight of my kitchen and caressed my face and throat with a hot, steamy towel until it cooled. As I nurtured myself in that way, I began to understand that the coughing had not been for nothing at all. The product that was being mined was not a modern day infection that needed to be routed out of my body, but old stockpiles of grief and sorrow and helplessness and hopelessness and fear and despair and more deep grief, maybe lifetimes worth. My valiant cells had been packing those things around for who knows how long, chunking them into every little nook and cranny of my valiant body temple, creating new vaults to hold more and more as the heavy energy stacked and fomented upon themselves. I lay again in my bed, curled into fetal position, and recalled each and every part of myself that I could remember, loving and honoring and caressing and nurturing and thanking each one for valiance and nobility and perseverance and patience and long suffering. I pulled out my Cheyenne Knoll Songs for the Inner Child soundtrack on Spotify and played it softly on repeat for the rest of the night. I woke in the morning to peace and calm and sweet awareness of my healing in process, deep gratitude, joyful awakening. When okay, I'll tell you this. So of note here is that my weight has dropped from where it had ballooned to 235 back to 222, my magic number. In one night, it dropped 5 pounds and 13 altogether since I got sick. There's magic in numbers. I have to tell you the rest of the story. I found out the battery in my weight scale was going out, and I've never lost any weight at all. So big lie. Whatever. When I arrived on the property here on 2/21/21, I weighed 222 pounds. And I dropped to 199 for one split second. When I grabbed my phone to take a picture, it went back to 200, and I've never seen 199 since. But also significant was that in that healing process of that period, I pulled 3 runes in succession. They were 20, 21, and 22. In my last rune session, in Transcending Margaret energy, I pulled 23, 24, and 25. That's a whole nother story. In my birthday reading, Archangel Raphael commented that that was exactly as it appeared, the perfect choreography of my healing process. So I'm also reminded that weight is carried out on the breath, which I find fascinating and appropriate. So these ruminations have all been done, I think, from my conscious mind. I wonder what I'm missing from the other side. So now we go into the italics. Beloved, there will soon come a day when you don't have to ask. There will soon be a time when each is the other. That is the goal. You are well on the path of integration of conscious, subconscious, and superconscious for issues that matter. I hear your thoughts that must be some wishful thinking on your ego side. It's okay. You can believe it. I'm meeting your resistance to relaxing into the fantastic and taking everything at face value and believing everything you hear from inside. That's good to be cautious. If I didn't trust you to do that, I wouldn't release the fantastic. I'm counting on you to learn to trust yourself. Trust me, trust us as being wholly benevolent and having outgrown the need to be right or better than or ahead of or seen by anyone else as anything more than what? It's all a process of evolution, and it's always an upward spiral, and it's all good, as you know. Your initial question at the beginning of the quest was, what do I want from God? Perhaps you should have asked, what does God want from me? But it doesn't matter because each is the other. That's the point. Your will is God's will. God's will is your will, all one. At any given moment, there is no ending to anything. So no matter which of the myriad directions you choose to focus your energy and attention, there'll be things to accomplish and things to learn and reasons to go there. It's all divinely choreographed. And yes, each possibility is already in place, and perhaps they're all taking place at once. You don't need to know. You can relax into the simple truth that all is in divine grace. Talking in circles? Yes. Upward spirals. So yes, choose 3 more runes and let's see what reveals themselves as the next step. You've even got the blue light. Go ahead. Go, girl. I won't tell you what the next runes were. That's way too much to talk about, but they were amazing. And one comment that J Fog made was significant. She said, you see, your voice, the voice of the divine through runes, my voice, it's all one voice. The conversation is seamless. And then the dream. I woke up on Monday morning with this dream. Oh my God. Long, peaceful sleep from which I awoke, and the most amazing dream of the day so far. In my dream, I'm hurtling along in the passenger seat of my car. I'm in the passenger seat, engaged in lively conversation with someone with long blonde hair. Suddenly, the road ends, and we're plunged over the longest drop-off I can hope to describe. It was like being dropped from the sky. It was like the Truman Show. The edge of the world I catapulted off was composed of a large block of Legos. A wall that rose up high, high, high above, or low, low, low below, whichever you choose. A sea. And down below, floating in the sea, were a party of people playing in the ocean. I heard the words, "Oh my God," as we plunged over, complete in utter shock. And then we waited and waited and waited. This is usually when you wake up, but no, I didn't. We just waited. I remember no fear. I remember anticipation. I remember curiosity. I remember wondering what would happen. There was no panic. It was surreal. It lasted a long time. I saw a dirty sock floating up. I saw space debris looking like a little pyramid float by. I saw the perspective change as we leaned forward and looked down into the ocean. I remember the landing as a flurry of foam and bubbles, and then heard a sound of a plink as I found myself in the water. My hair didn't even get wet. The car was below me, underneath the water, and I waited for my companion to surface, and she did. She had her hand up her mouth, and I pulled her hand out of her mouth, and she sat up and woke up, and I woke up. So finally, I want to share a love note from heaven that I received in a creative writing class when we were assigned to write a sonnet. And I may have shared this before, but it's a touchstone. It's touchstones like these that keep us grounded to source and to the reality of who we are and how we're supported and guided and carried through our eternity of earthly experiences. What words can't tell. Can you describe the taste of salt to me? Or tell me how the wind feels on your face? Please tell me what it might be like to see the earth a sphere as can be seen from space. There are some things that can't be told in words. The fragrance of a newborn babe yet damp, a rising flock of graceful snow white birds, the golden glow of windows lit by lamp. Of all these things, the one I'd choose to share, the mortal joy which far outshines them all, the fullness and the tenderness so rare with which I'm answered every time I call. In wordless ways, I've sensed my welcome guest, and in my need, been gathered to his breast. Thank you.
Wow. Oh, okay. That clock's wrong. I don't know about that one.
Quarter after 11.
Yes, that one's somewhat accurate. Um, wow. Just taking it in. Wow. Okay, well, I know what can take us even more out there, and that is music. Yeah, and you're going to play the music while we do that. So I'm going to pass around our coal bowl, and this gives everyone the opportunity to bless New Thought in whatever way they feel is appropriate for them. Money's great, prayers are great, blessings are great. Whatever it is that you have to offer to us, we gratefully receive.
Oh, not done yet. Not ready?
Yes, I think so. Thank you, Miss Nance. Appreciate that. Wow. Oh, okay. I'm going to offer a closing prayer, and then after that, I'll do the announcements. So, everybody just, oh, keep opening that beautiful space that Julia just opened for us in our hearts, and that JT just continued to expand into the amazing all that is. And here we go. There is one heart, one mind, one spirit, one soul, one creative energy, one force, one all that is. And we have a new awareness and understanding that we are with that. We are one with all that is. We are one with the creative force. We are the creative force. And as we know this, we affirm a blessing for all the gifts offered here today to New Thought and our beautiful Koa Bowl, that they are multiplied and amplified in every way to do us all the highest and best good. We also know a blessing and a wellness for all who are struggling or suffering or going through difficulties. We know that they are one with all that is, and we know that they are now in this very moment complete, whole, and healthy, wealthy and wise, beautiful and peaceful, happy and joyful, and that we are that as well. We are that peace, that joy, that love, that wellness, that wholeness. We are it. We are one. And breathing in the one and breathing out the one. Ah, we give thanks for this moment in time and for all the moments to come and for all the moments that have passed. We are here now, ready to celebrate, illuminate, extrapolate, ready to dance, ready to sing, and ready to smile. And we know this to be true. We give thanks that we know this. Ua lele valiatula. Mama e. We let go, we let God, and together we can all say, and so it is. I love it. I love it. Okay, wiki wiki. Announcements coming up at New Thought Center. Our services start at 10, go to 11:30 most of the time. Uh, you can be here in person, you can watch the live stream, or you can watch the video on YouTube afterwards. We do have free childcare available if you have children. We just ask that you call on by Friday to let us know you're coming with a child so that we'll be sure to have that childcare here. My daughter's graduated to not childcare, so she's actually now part of the childcare team when we have little ones. So kind of fun. I like that. Good job, Faith. Next 2 Sundays. Next week is me, Pomakai Kulan, and my title is Sharing the Love, and music by Owen Costello. What kind of music does he do? Does he play? I thought you mentioned his name. Oh, a different guy. Okay, okay. Okay. And then the following week, oh yay, Kumu Kiala Ching is here to He Makana no, E Makana Ia Aku. Know your gift to share your gift. And the Kumu does his own music, which is always awesome and fun. And he tries to teach us, and we kind of learn it. But we're doing better each time. Weekly class. Mondays from 4:30 to 5:30. Jinan Wang does a Tai Chi and Qigong class here, and it's $15 per class. All levels are welcome. Monthly events. End of the month potluck. That's next Sunday, happening next week, right after the service. So bring something to share, and there's always plenty. So if you wind up getting here and realize you left it at home, don't worry. Somehow, loaves and fishes, we always have plenty. Produce giveaway the first Sunday of the month. So the following Sunday, if you have any goodies growing on your property that you'd like to share with us, please bring that. And if you'd like to gather any goodies that you don't have on your property, bring a bag to put the goodies in. Okay? Um, and Crystal Bowl meditation is the second Sunday of the month in the Honua room, this room in here, from 9 to 9:30. So the next one will be August 11th. Special event. Ooh, Saturday, July 27th, a workshop, Margie Bourgeois, Wellness for Independent Living. It's 9:30 to 11:30. $25 suggested donation. See the flyer on the bulletin board. Do you want to say something, Margie? Yeah. All right. And that's this coming Saturday. Yes. Okay. Invitation. Oh, we already did that. You're invited to submit prayer requests. We've done that. I told you about the mailing list. And I just, I think back to the days when we were creating that website and creating a newsletter and all of thousands of hours we we spent. I think of it as the most joyous time because I got to share it with you, and I just wanted you to know how special I felt that was. Thanks, thank you. And Julia, do you have any announcements?
The only thing I can think of is,
You just hold it up to your mouth if you want.
so as you all know, probably, I'm working on the Kona Airport mural. And I just want to report that it's coming along amazingly, even though the airport is under construction at the moment. So the mural itself is covered up with big, ugly boards, but we are working so hard at the um, studio in Waimea, and we've got the most amazing things happening. So if anybody's interested in, every 6 months I put out a newsletter that about kills me every time. It's so much work, but we try to save, the progress photos as we go and make sure we take enough progress photos. And so we just put one out like for the summer equinox. And if anybody's interested in signing up for that newsletter, we promise not to spam you. It's only every 6 months if you're lucky. And then there's a page where I've archived all of the last 3 years worth of newsletters, so you can follow the whole progress of the mural. And just one little story. We are creating this mandala. It's an 8-foot ulu living quilt mandala of glass. And the ulu, we found this mold maker in Kansas, and they ordered ulu from Florida, and they created a mold of ulu. So we're having ulu in relief, and the ulu are melted wine bottles.
Ooh.
And they're the exact color of ulu, and it's so exciting. We're just having the best time ever. So, there's so much that goes into building this mural, and it's going to be iconic, when it goes up. So it's really fun to follow it. And Callie really wants people to participate and be aware that you can have your plaque. There's like the entire 321 feet of the mural has a thin blue line that goes across it that's made out of melted sake bottles. And we're inscribing them with whatever you want on it for $100 per plaque. Because we do have to fundraise.
Yes.
So if anybody knows anybody who's a grant writer, I am not. So if you could please.
We need a grant writer.
I'd love a grant writer.
You're out there. We need a grant writer.
We'll give you your percentage of the grant gladly. So.
Ooh.
I'm just saying.
Wonderful. And this is a project of love, and it's amazing that people from all over the world are going to be able to see the Aloha spirit right when they get here. I mean, it's like, here it is, folks.
3 to 4 million visitors per year come through Kona Airport.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Next week, I'll take the liberty of putting, if it's okay,
Closer to your mouth.
I'll take the liberty next week of putting a link to the sign up page, to the progress page, and there's a sign up link on there if you're interested in receiving the newsletter. I'll
Yay.
put it on the newsletter next time.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Okay, I'll do that.
Do that. Awesome. All right. And we get to take you to lunch if you want. Where would you like to go? Okay. So we take our presenters to lunch as a thank you. And she has chosen the Royal Tide down in Keoho Shopping Center. So if you don't know where it is, ask me and I'll tell you how to get there. Let me see, show of hands, anybody that wants to join us. So this is your opportunity to share more with her. And okay, was that a yes? Okay. 1, 2, 6. I got 6 so far. If anybody changes their mind, come tell me. So we're going to call in a table reservation. It's really a busy place. So, okay, that's that. And then, are there any other New Thought announcements? And there's produce in the back. I can't see it. Oh, okay. There's produce in the back. So everybody go take a look and see what's there. Did you bring up Palmer? Okay, okay. What do we have? Star fruits and mountain apples. Huh? And sapote? Oh, wow. All right. So, yeah. So, grab some before you leave. Awesome. All right. Oh, Pasha, yeah. No.
Oh.
There. Yeah. You're on.
Okay, 2 additional New Thought announcements. Maria Mann is working on something that's kind of similar to her June workshop, and it came in too late to be included in the announcements this week, but most likely she'll submit something to Julia. So just so you know, it's a series of events, but the first of the series happens August 10th. So just be on the on the lookout for it, and we'll have more details next week. And then the other thing, it's regarding the childcare. Someday, Faith will probably be childcare provider, because that seems to be what happens, that the children are the recipients and then they grow up and then they take care of younger children. But she's only 10 right now. So in the meantime, if anyone knows a nice, responsible teenager, we would be happy to consider them as a childcare provider, and we pay $20 a Sunday for that. So you can talk to me or have that person or their parent send a message to the New Thought website. We're open to that. Meanwhile, Candy and I take turns being on call. Okay, so thank you.
And they're experts at doing that way, especially, well, I won't say that. Anyway, thank you all for being here today, and we're all going to stand now and sing our song, Hawaii. It's on the walls here, the words, in case you don't know what they are. And so...
Figuring that Yeah.